Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classic. This is episode number 801, Doubleshot number 695. Okay, my first, like I mentioned in my last video I did, there's going to be a DC trade. This is the first one. The other one's a Marvel trade. This DC trade is Batgirl, Volume 3, Summer of Lies. Collecting issues 12 to 17 of Batgirl, Volume 5. Written by Hope Larson. Artwork by a few different artists. Chris Wildgoose, Jose Martinez Jr., Eloria Caloria, Andy Owens, Inaki Midoriya. Dan Midoriya does the cover art for this trade. Now, the first two issues are standalone issues. Yep, they're standalones. There is the first one is basically all about doing. It's how do you describe it? It's kind of like this haunted, like, I think it's like a seance. I think it's, yeah, they do a seance in a pool that's haunted. Yeah, that's simply put what this issue was about. Basically a seance. A little research about ghosts were there, stuff like that. It was a pretty okay issue. Next issue was a team up between Batgirl and Catwoman to help a little girl rescue a cat and a missing cat and missing dog. Yeah, apparently these are celebrity dogs. And they run into a villain from the previous volume of the series, Violent Tiger. Yep, she pops up in here as well. The Summer of Lies is a four-parter where Batgirl teams up with Nightwing. Yeah, it also reveals their past relationship during like her first year as, well, Batgirl. Also, for some reason, one of the issues has her zipper much more well defined than it normally is. Yeah, I'm looking at this. I'm like, wow, they really like screwed up on her zipper in one panel. Yeah, where they actually show, yeah, it's a freaking zipper. Yeah, they just had to do a close-up on it. Yeah, you can clearly tell it's a zipper. Yeah, usually supposed to be well covered by her material that she's wearing. But for some reason, they decided to show it off for some reason. I don't know why, but they did. There's also something with her, with a substitute teacher she's working with, she's also entering her with as well. Yeah, and it turns out that the class that she's trying to get into is a class that she's subbing for, and of course that becomes her intern via some kind of like this big computer setup. Yeah, it's an odd little story. It's just basically exploring the past relationship between Nightwing and Batgirl. That's really the whole point of this. Plus, it's nice to see Nightwing as Robin in the flashbacks, and Batgirl in her first costume, which is technically her first official costume that she's had. She had a makeshift costume before, but this was her first official costume that she wore. And in this continuity, she's had at least 3 costumes. This is okay. It's not terrible, but I would say my highlight for me was probably the Batgirl and Catwoman story. The Nightwing Batgirl one, that was actually quite interesting. I would say the weakest story of this entire one is the first story in here. The seance in a pool. Yep, that's the weakest story. The reason why I like the Catwoman and Batgirl, I guess it's nice to see these two team up once in a while and take on a villain from the previous volume. Yep. I'll give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Alright, next up it is Siege! Mighty Avengers! Collecting Mighty Avengers Volume 1, issues 32 to 36. Written by Dan Slott, artwork by Koei Pham and Neil Edwards, who does the artwork for issue 32. Now, there is about 3 different stories in here. The first one is, well, the Mighty Avengers versus Dark Avengers, where they had to briefly team up with each other. Then take on the Zora-Man, who's also alternate reality by turning Carla Salt back to her original Moonstone outfit and taking away briefly the symbiote from Scorpion, though the symbiote tries to go to Quicksilver. Yeah, and of course, this 2-parter ends with U.S. Agent removed from the team. by having his rank stripped from him and losing his title as U.S. agent. He does not have that authority to do that. This is Norman Osborn doing this. Yeah. The following issue is just the new Avengers, the Mighty Avengers going to space. They also have like a brief the start of this thing before they take on the Mighty Avengers. They're basically helping humans stop an insurgency. Yep. And the following issue is just Thor versus the Mighty Avengers. And it's all about Loki and him lying to them about their intentions. Yep. The final 2 issues is simply put the Siege tie-in. And it's all it is basically what Hank Pym was up to. Everything else is going on in Siege. This is what he was doing during Siege before he showed up. What was he doing? Fighting Ultron. Yeah, fighting Ultron. I get kind of the reason why Dan Slott did this when he ended this particular series. Because when this series started, the first villain that the Mighty Avengers fought was Ultron, though became a woman. And was shot into space, and of course that set up events of Annihilation. Conquest, I think. Yeah, Annihilation Conquest. Yeah. And there's also stuff with the Cosmic Cube. Yeah, Norman Osborn kind of sees them. He doesn't touch it. He doesn't alter reality. Basically, somehow the Azori man touches the Cosmic Cube, so it alters reality a bit, but everything gets restored a little bit later. Yeah, it's also manipulation. Of course, Hank is... there's even a joke in here. I don't know, a very terrible written joke that Dan Slott writes between Hank Pym and Norman Osborn. Yeah, Norman tells Hank, "You still slapping women around?" And Hank fires back and says, "You still throw them off bridges?" Yeah. I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke or the fact that, well, maybe just a reminder that sometimes basically, like, because he's too been terrible people in the past. Yeah, but the thing is, Norman Osborn was only throwing one woman off a bridge. That was Gwen Stacy back in the 70s. Yep. I gotta say, the stories here are actually pretty good. And it was an okay way to end the series. It was a good way to end the series of having Ultron come back. Though the Infinite Avengers Mansion would basically stick around in the Marvel Universe, even after the series ended, in the pages of Avengers Academy. For the first about 2 years, the book. Yeah, up until Fear itself, that was their base. That's what the school was based out of, the Infinite Avengers Mansion, which is a really cool idea that Slott introduced. And they even mentioned stuff that happened prior to this. They also bring a couple agents from the Agency and Grandpa. I haven't reviewed the first trade that collects issues of Dan Slott's run, but I gotta say, so far the true trades I reviewed, these are actually really good issues. And if anybody was curious to see like how Dan Slott writes a group of characters, I mean, aside from Spider-Man, it's actually quite interesting. Though I think the reason why he ended this particular run that he did, probably because he was offered a chance to write Spider-Man full time. That's my personal guess. But after this, he would not write a group of series again for 8 years. That wasn't until he got Fantastic Four this year, which is really good so far, 2 issues in. But yeah, the Siege Titan is really good. I'm going to give roughly a 9.25 out of 10. Yeah, this is only like the 3rd trade I reviewed that relates to stuff related to Siege, because the only thing else I've reviewed related to Siege is the main event and that Siege X-Men book, which collects the Dark Wolverine issues that tie in for Siege and the 1 issue of New Mutants. Yep. Always though, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for next episode. I'm going to do another trade related to Siege. You'll find out what it is next episode, along with I think it's a Punisher trade. I think it's Punisher. I don't know. I have to take a look at it. But it's definitely going to be another Siege-related tie-in trade. But yeah, it's interesting, though, that this is what Hank Pym was up to while all the stuff going on in Siege. While Asgard's being attacked, he's fighting Ultron. And he also marries Ultron and Jocasta. And, of course, Jocasta copies her consciousness into the Infinite Avengers Mansion. And apparently, get this, apparently the Avengers Mansion is in the same area where the Wasp is. Yes, I'm not kidding about this. Now, I love the Infinite Avengers Mansion. It's a great idea and concept. It's just too bad they got rid. It's too bad Crystal Cage got rid of it about 20 issues into his Avengers Academy series. Yep. Otherwise, though, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned. Later on today, I have 2 more videos planned for today. My review of the 2 newest chapters of the 7 Deadly Sins, and my review of this season of Gintama. I'm hoping to get done today. Okay? But to see you there. Bye.